Hey guys, and welcome to Jenk Plays with me, Jenk Huffington. Uh, this new series is for me to get a bit more focused in terms of what I'm doing with Transport Fever after a couple of 100 hours of just messing around and doing my own thing. There are two main objectives for this playthrough, one of which is to connect every city with a train line, and the other, which is to have a city with at least 1,500 residents. So one thing to know about this playthrough as well is that we'll be playing on the test branch, as there's a new update coming to Transport Fever which changed quite a few of the new mechanics for the game in terms of new industries coming in and changing industries' demand. So this is my first time playing through it, so I'm kind of curious to see how this plays out. We'll be doing a 3-game. Generally, I tend to like to play long maps as opposed to wide maps, and it gives us a bit of depth, length to play with. And I've been playing quite a bit of tropical recently, which has meant that I've been using a lot of ships, but I think we're on a change of pace. And I think we're going to go dry, because I want to do an American playthrough for a change, because I normally go Asian tropical. In terms of towns, I like to go high. It means that there's more demand for the industries. And then I like to go very high for industries, because it gives me more options when I'm putting stuff in. And I think this is a reasonable balance in terms of terrain. We'll just do some randomization and get some nice big rivers in there. Let's see, that would do. There we go, wait for that to generate. Okay, and we go through. And here we see we've got changes to the menus. So we're going to go for an American playthrough, town cargo demands. So we can see here you can pick different amounts. Historically it was 2. We're going to go for up to 4 for now for my first playthrough. We're going to go just industry closure frequency. We're going to go rarely for now. And we'll do very high industry density target, so we can get a lot of goods being shipped around. So with those settings, let's begin. So here we are. Here's our map. And let's have a quick look around. Let me close the welcome message. So as we can see, nice and long, nice and flat. Some nice mesas for us to get around, but broadly, relatively simple terrain. Lots of industries for us to play with. Not going to turn off tips just yet, just in case anything comes up about the changes to the new playthrough, play styles. But yeah, so here's our map. Let's start with, for today, our first task will be to set up some basic transport links within and between our cities. So what I like to do is start with the largest ones and see if we can connect them easily. So we can see we've got Fargo there. Salt Lake is going to be too far away. Olathe is pretty close. No, it's not. It's been miles away. And Little Rock. Okay, so we've got Fargo, Little Rock, Stockton. Okay. So what I'm suggesting we do, first of all, is put in a transport link between Fargo, Oceanside, and Little Rock. And also within them, set up some internal transport links. And while I'm looking at it, it might be worth doing Fairfield as well. So if we start, first of all, with looking at Fargo, you can see it's relatively big. It's got a nice round space. Oh, and by the way, I've paused it as well, just so I can have a bit of what we're doing. We don't have stuff going on. Let's see, if we start with our bus and tram station, we're going to want quite a large one, because it's going to be our intercity and also internal. And I think for our large cities, we're also going to start with trams as well, just because I like them a little bit more than buses. Buses are good for intercities. In the early game, trams can be a little bit better internally, I feel, but yeah, feel free to disagree. So we start with our tram stop outside, put some bus and tram stops in the city. We're going to do a clockwise and a counterclockwise one, so we get a decent bit of coverage. You can see the areas that are being hit as we go around, because they're being highlighted. And of course, there's a bit of overlap here, which is I'm okay with. You might not be, so if you'd rather not overlap, then of course feel free not to do that, but for me, I don't mind. A little bit of extra coverage never hurt anyone. And then what we'll do is we'll loop this back around here, and then we'll put in some tram tracks through, so we can make sure that our trams can run. And there we go. Let's do this here. Oh, should have unupgrade that one. Let's go to that one. Unupgrade, so let's shift to shrink the size of the road. Tram track, yes. We'll just connect these two. Let's go in. There we go, connected. lots of clicking going on here, but don't worry. And there we go. So this is now our Fargo transport loop, which will make our citizens here very happy. And one of the things that you need to know about Transport Fever is that as you add transport options, cities can grow quicker, alongside also providing things for their demands. So what I've got here, first of all, is a counterclockwise transport loop within the city. And my naming convention is road, passenger, and we'll go Fargo counterclockwise. And what we're going to do is going to add another one, this time going clockwise. And then it's going to be road, passenger, Fargo clockwise. And there we go. So we've got our first 2 lines set up for our large city. And what we need to do now is we need to add vehicles to it. So we'll add a tram depot first of all. And we put it, let's put it over here for now. We may need to move that later once the city starts growing a bit more, but there we go. And then if we select our tram depot, let's start with 4. So we have 2 going each way. 1, 2. Set that to counterclockwise. And then we'll send that one to these 2 to clockwise. What is that? So we want that one to be... No? What have I done here? I've done something silly. There we go, that's all right now. So when you put 2 stops together, they should be recognised as a single stop. And I think the problem I've got there is that they were slightly off there, slightly askew. So I didn't like that, so it made them loop around a bit, but there we go. So we've got our first transport loop around Fargo. And where else did we say we were going to go? We said we were going to go to Oceanside and then Little Rock. So as we can see here, there's not actually a connection between Fargo and Oceanside. So we may need to put in a bridge there. But it looks relatively flat. I say now. We'll see how bad that is when we get to it, but you never know. We'll just give it a go. So I think for now, let's also quickly just do an internal loop in Little Rock as well, because Little Rock is a little bit bigger. So you can see it's just about... let's just do a back and forth to there, and we'll give them an external stop as well, so we can have connections to other cities without necessarily disrupting the internal. That's very so that's the coverage there. That guy. Okay, I think we want to put in another bus and tram stop just in the middle. We'll put it both ways. There we go. So we've now got our Little Rock loop. As Little Rock grows a little bit more, it might be that we want to, again, up road, passenger, Little Rock. As it grows more, it might be that we also want to introduce a clockwise, a counterclockwise loop, but for now, with the size of it as it is, I don't think we need to worry about that too much. What I'll do is while I'm here, put in a road depot, try and keep it on as level as possible because it makes it cheaper, and we'll whack in, let's say, 1 carriage for now, because we won't know what demand's going to be like. So there we go. So now Little Rock is going to have internal transport, so they'll commute up and down, and also once this one is set up as well, passengers will come from here to there, and then follow the road round, and then come over to Fargo. What we do need to do though is figure out how we're going to get to Fargo from Little Rock. And I'm looking here, and it might be a little bit easier for us to go via Fairfield, and then we extend that road around and connect the 2 of them. You can see there's already a connection between these ones here. You can see there's already a connection, yeah. Okay, so let's just think about that. There's already that bridge there. If we go a bit lower, let's check our altitude. So these buttons like to altitude. Let's just do a quick bridge check and find out whether or not I am going to be able to do this. There is a fair chance looking at this. Yeah, I'm going to have to admit this might be a bit of a pricey connection, so maybe we don't connect those 2 just yet. We'll let Little Rock have its internal transport, but I think maybe we will leave them as they are for now, and they can have that. and we will just instead do maybe Fargo, Pueblo, and Fairfield, and we'll do that, and then that will be what we finish with today. So let's just quickly take a look at Pueblo. Also, if my pronunciation of Pueblo is wrong, I apologise. Let's do a little loop. I really like my loops. There we go. Oh, actually thinking about that. No, we want that to be, take that out. If we put in a bus stop, we can then have our intercity bus route on the outside. And then we'll also do the same at Fairfield. There we go. And what I might suggest is we also add one for the west as well. And we'll name these appropriately shortly. So this will then be West Pueblo. And we've got North Pueblo. And thinking about this, it will be RP Intercity. And we'll add that as well. West Pueblo, RP Intercity. And then when we add our loop, which we all need to complete here, looking at that, we'll quickly put in there. We can then add these on, so we do start there. And we've got RP, Pueblo, clockwise, and then we'll add a nice quick arc save, we'll go for it for a sec, and then we'll add a RP Pueblo counter clockwise. There we go. RP Pueblo clockwise. And we'll quickly stick on a road depot so we can get some buses going. We'll put it outside the city again. Get 2, and we'll send 1 in each way. So apply them. So counterclockwise, and then you can be clockwise. Okay. And then we'll just quickly set up a simple loop, or yeah, we can probably get away with just a simple loop here. We put one there. As the city grows, we'll come back and revisit this, but for now that should be enough. So we've got RP, Fairfield, Fairfield. And let's get another road depot. What we'll do is we'll get 1 because you're very small. RP Fairfield loop. Okay. So we now have, I'll press play, we now have a series of transport networks. Did I put a bus on this one? I did, they're coming out. Okay. A series of internal transport networks for our city. So what this is going to do is this is going to move citizens of these cities around internally, and they'll also have a desire to move to transport to other cities as well. I think this one should give us that one. So this overlay gives us how much demand there is for a given route. So you can see that there's demand level of 3 for connections between Pueblo and Fairfield, Fargo even, and there is a demand of 1 between Fairfield and Pueblo. What we don't know is how much of this demand is people coming from Fairfield wanting to go to Fargo. Oh, we can also see there's quite a bit of demand to Dallas as well. I think about quite a bit, 1. So maybe we then extend our loop transport network down to here. That'll probably be something for the next episode. So for now, what we'll do is quickly add some buses to our intercity network. So if we'll add 2 down here. Oh, I've not made the intercity network. Okay, just a sec. Let me add Lower Fairfield to West Pueblo intercity. So that would be RP Fairfield field to Pueblo. I see. Let me just do RP intercity. It might be that actually when this one could be East Field RP intercity. There we go. As I'm looking at this, what I want to do is actually put a second entrance onto here, and I want to go around the city instead of through the city because pollution is generated by your transport. It's going to be very rough and ready. We'll make it pretty another time. Leave the water to go. There we go. And the more pollution you have in your city, the slower growth you get. There we go. So that's our Pueblo city. We're going to manage that line. We're going to add a stop there, and we'll extend that out to our intercity that's put on the wrong side, but that's okay. We don't worry so much about that. We'll deal with that potentially off screen. And we can do West, Fargo, RP, intercity, just so we're consistent in our naming. Okay. This is interesting. What's this? I've not used this before. Oh, it's just changing terminal selection icon. Okay, so we now have an intercity bus line between, I don't have to name that actually, Fairfield, Pueblo, Fargo. There we go. So we now know the route that we've got. We have, if we double click it, you can see we've got no buses on it just yet. Click it down here, put them on that one. And just to spread out the vehicles a little bit, I might also come down here and let's add some buses down here as well. So 2 passenger buses down here. There. We can see we've already got that demand coming through for our Fairfield loop. People just coming back and forth from our industrial section and our commercial section to our residential section. Let's come ahead and look at this one. Let's see how Pueblo's doing. Pueblo starting to get demand, so we can see counterclockwise is slightly more popular than clockwise, and that's going from residential through into commercial, and then from industrial through into residential, and then we'll see the clockwise one does the opposite, so from residential into industry, and then back round. And I'm also curious to see whether or not this link here is going to impact demand for these stops here. It might be that people decide to take this route as opposed to going from here to there or from here to there. So we'll see how that plays out. Looking at that, let's add a terminal. And we're going to configure that one. We're going to have second passenger terminal on this side. We want our internal as in not going to another city on one side, and we have our intercity on the other side. Let's check that. So we come in, although I'm looking at that, it's a bit of a mess. We'll switch around. We'll put that on 3, and then that one on 2. Yeah, that's a bit tidier, isn't it? I know they're doing a bit of a loop there. So actually we want that to be on 3. That one to be on 1. There we go, isn't that? That's a lot tidier, isn't it? So we've got single file traffic coming in and then single file traffic coming out. Okay. And also, actually, with that line, we want to add, after Fargo, another stop here, don't we? Yes, we do. Okay, in that case, I also need to add another terminal. Yeah, add the terminal. Let's go. Okay, so let's flip these actually. So our intercity ones will be the externals, and then our internal ones will be the. I've done that wrong. I want that on 1, on 2. There we go. So our loops will be on the internal ones, and our intercity ones will go on the outside. So that's a nice bit of symmetry. There we go. Coming around. And there we go. So we can now see that we've connected these 3 cities. See, Fargo is growing. We've got demand. There we go. Look at this. We've already a lot of demand for our counterclockwise. So it might be that we come back later and expand this. Maybe add some more trams. And I am strongly considering relocating this, but it might be something to do off screen. So I think with that, that's enough for today. It's a good start. We've connected our 3 cities. I think for next time, what we're going to look at is potentially starting adding some supply for some of the resources that are demanding. So we can see here that both Pueblo and Fargo want construction materials, which is that brick. So it might be that we're going to try and find some construction materials. And what this is going to do is it's going to help Fargo grow. It might also be that we come back and take another. Oh, we can see that actually Fargo is now substantially the larger city. It might be that we go and take a look at Salt Lake City and see if there's anything we can do over there, but that's something we'll do next time. So with that, I think I'm going to wrap up now. Thanks for watching, and you may not exist just yet, but as soon as you do, feel free to leave a comment, give some pointers, and I'll see you next time.